is story time. What's up, my beautiful glamazons, and welcome back to this weekend story time. I hope you guys are excited and ready and got your snacks and your wine and your favorite things right in front of you and are ready for story time. Today's story time is actually going to be going back quite a bit. I got reminded by a lot of you that I forgot to even talk about this girl. Okay, I forgot to talk about it. Like I told y'all, the OG story. So this is going to be like the extension story. If y'all remember the story time that I had a while back about the time that Ariel and I were talking to the same dude and we didn't even know about it. Y'all remember this when I was working at Little Caesars? As I mentioned in that last story time, I did have two crushes, one that I named Daniel, the other one that I named Eric. But in that story time, I went more into detail about what happened with Eric, because Eric was the guy Ariel and I had been talking to at the same time and we didn't even know it, okay? But that's not to say that nothing happened with Daniel. I did mention that there was like quite a bit of drama that went down with his girlfriend, and there was some things that popped off at the store. So today we're going to talk about that mess. We're going to spill that tea. If you haven't seen the first story time that I'm referring to, which is when Ariel and I were talking to the same dude and we didn't even know it, I will leave that down below or like somewhere here on the screen so you guys can watch that. You can watch it now, you can watch it later. It's up to you, girl. But we are going to be discussing the other dude from Little Caesars. So I hope you guys are ready. Now, I am finding my Glamazon shot of the day, but while I do that, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to be a part of my glam fam, okay? Y'all want to be here for new story times, Ask Nikki's especially. And I do have like some vlogging and some makeup tutorials that I wanted to like share. Y'all know I'm not a makeup artist, but I have a lot of you guys that are asking to like know what I be doing, especially with skincare and makeup and stuff. So I'm like kind of interested in showing y'all my way though. Like I want to be like regular Nikki, but like just be sharing what I like to do with makeup. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that. Give this video a thumbs up because y'all know it's gonna be good, and make sure that you're subscribed. You hit that notification bell so you're always here, and let me find my Glamazon shot of the day. As per usual, before we get into today's story time, today's Glamazon shot of the day, these are my homies, my ride or dies, my do anything for me, my support me no matter what, my OGs, my MVPs, okay? These are my girls that have been with me, that are ride or dies for me, and that send me their beautiful Glamazon shot via Twitter or Instagram, because I toggle between the two using their hashtag Glamazonshot, but also tag me, okay? So I really know that you one of my Glamazons, all right? So don't forget to tag me. But this is my girl. She goes by Dose of Rose on Instagram. She has the most beautiful hair. Girl, do you see this glow? Do you see all the beautifulness? You are so gorgeous. Thank you so much for sending me your beautiful Glamazon shot and just being a ride or die supporter for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for coming here every week and chilling with me and talking to me. Us having the time of our lives. So story times. I don't take any of you guys for granted, and I really appreciate you, girl. Thank you so much for loving me and supporting me the way that you do. Thank you guys so much. You guys know that I would not be here without you, and I could not do this and be my crazy ass self without you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now let's get into the story time, girl, because we are way overdue. Y'all liking my little outfit today? I felt like a little polka dot-ish. It's like a little girly. I have not worn a dress in forever, and it does fit over my baby bump. I might take some pictures later. I don't know. Let's get into the story time. Most of you guys have already seen that past story time, so I'm going to speak as though you already know what happened, okay? But in case any of you guys are new to this series or new to my channel, hey, what's up? Obviously, I tell story times here, and I'm going to be starting out when I was 16. I was already at my fourth and final high school. I had not met Robert's funky ass yet. I was single. My mom was married at the time to her ex-husband, who was in fact Ariel's dad. So we were like a family of sorts, but at this time, my mom and my stepdad were kind of separated, and they were trying to give each other space to figure things out. So while that was happening, we ended up getting an apartment that was pretty close to where we had previously been living, because I was still going to school and I was not about to move high schools again, okay? This was already my fourth high school. So my mom was like, you know, we'll stay in the neighborhood even though we're separated, so that way you can finish off your school year there. So I was like, okay, cool. So we moved to this other apartment complex, and I'm not gonna lie, okay, I was pretty happy about it by this time. I mean, I was already like getting up to here with Ariel and her shit. I can never remember to take these off. Oh my God. I always, like as some sort of bracelet or something, I'm always walking around with those. I feel like us just being together was just like a recipe for disaster. It was like toxic, and we brought out the worst in each other. We got into shit together, and like it wasn't always good. You know what I'm saying? So I really was enjoying this solace and this time of just like rest, pretty much, where I didn't have to worry about anybody else besides me. My mom and I get this apartment, and as I said in the other story time, I started looking for a job because y'all know that your girl loves making her own money. But like more money, more freedom, especially my mom. My mom used to say that all the time, you know, you don't want me all up in your business, then you need to pay your own bills. So I was like, fine. I ended up looking for a job. There was gonna be an opening of a brand new Little Caesars that was in my neighborhood, literally down the street from my apartment complex, but it was like quite a ways, so I still had to ride the bus there. But it was on the way to and from school, so it was pretty perfect. We're gonna fast forward through the whole initial application process because I did touch on that in the last story time. It was a pain in the ass, okay? I don't know if this is for all Little Caesars, but for me in particular, I don't know if it's just because this was a brand new location. I don't know. But I will say that the application process and the onboarding process was strenuous, to say the least. I went through all that, got my job, and I ended up being a cashier at Little Caesars, right? So we're gonna be fast forwarding to the grand opening of this Little Caesars. So like I said, this was a brand new location in the neighborhood, and they decided to have the huge like party basically, and they had like flyers going out to the neighborhood, and they had like the Little Caesars guy there, you know, in costume. We had raffles, we had like games, we had things that we were giving away. There was like a tent outside, there was balloons. It was like this whole thing, right? For this grand opening, every single employee was going to be there, like day shift, night shift. It didn't matter when you were going to be working. Everyone was going to be there this one Saturday to like get everyone in one spot and to have the grand opening event, right? So this was the very first time that I was meeting all of my coworkers all at once, and it was really rare. Like this never ever happened again while I was there. This is where for the first time I met both Eric and Daniel, okay? Now, I'm not going to talk about Eric because this story ain't about him. We are going to be honing in on Daniel. So when I got to the grand opening, you know, we started setting up, we started putting up the tents and putting up the balloons and all that. You know, like I said, when you're a teenager, I was single, ready to mingle. This was like a whole new group of teenagers that I was around. And what do we do when we're single and we're ready to mingle? We look around and see what different eye candy we got to choose from, and like who basically we're setting our sights on. Like, let's not lie, okay? Like we got scanner vision, like like who is going to be my next man. I did meet Daniel for the first time. We didn't talk that much because so much was going on. I think that he was working inside most of the time, and I was working outside handing out raffle tickets. So I was under that tent with like 2 other girls, and we were talking to the public. He was mostly inside like making the pizzas and stuff, right? As I mentioned before, I did work as much as I could, but I only worked with Daniel on the weekends. I worked with Eric more so during the week, like at night, because I would go in after school, obviously. I didn't see Daniel as often as I saw Eric, but I still liked Daniel more than I liked Eric for the most part, like while I was working there. So as most work crushes start, you know, you start kind of messing around with each other and like have inside jokes and like picking on one another. So that's what started happening between Daniel and I. Now, Daniel was a really quiet guy. Like he was just kind of, he was very low key. He was very like, he wasn't a loud person. He wasn't like an extrovert, but he was really funny. Like when you finally got him to talk, he was funnier than you anticipated, if that makes sense. It's one of those things where you're like, oh man, you'll never break my heart. Like you would never, like a guy like you could never be an asshole. You know? He was my age, but he did go to a different school. That was something else that attracted me to him because I knew the guys that I went to school with, you know, and I was just like, I'm looking for something new. So this guy not going to my school was pretty ideal because I just felt like dating guys in school with you is just kind of like drama. I don't know, like then everybody knows and you got other girls trying to get your man, you know what I'm saying? But if y'all go to separate schools, you ain't got to worry about that. At least that's what I was thinking. So when I found out he went to a different school, he did go to one of my rival schools. That's how we ended up like talking and picking on one another, was because we went to rival schools and we started talking shit to each other, even though my school was clearly better than his, and like every aspect, he would not let it go. Daniel and I start getting to know each other, and we start having inside jokes, and we start, you know, picking on one another. And you guys, it's like every time we see each other, and it gets to the point where like other people start noticing, you know, at your job, where they're like, ooh girl, like y'all just need to get a room, y'all just need to like, you know, hurry up and make this happen, because this whole flirting back and forth thing is just like the most. I was always too prideful to make the first move. So, and because Daniel was so shy, it took him a minute, okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was kind of annoying and irritating how much of a minute he took. One day came around, okay, I'm working, Daniel's there, it's the weekend, and you know, it was like earlier in the morning, so not a whole lot of people were coming in. And my friend, she worked with me up at the front, she was like restocking. We had one of those refrigerators out there that had the 2 liter of sodas in there. She was refilling that, and I was behind the counter. A lot of times in the morning, we would always have like the $5 hot and ready, like that was like the first thing that they would work on. But after those pizzas were done, like we just kind of, you know, chilled and sat there until people started coming in, and we started getting orders on the phone and all that, right? And I'm just standing there, and we're talking. So she's like right there, and I'm looking. I don't even remember what we were talking about, but I felt somebody like pass by me, behind me. So I look over, and it's Daniel. It's like looking around, like behind the registers, we had like a few little shelves behind there, and we would carry like the seasoning packets and, you know, like the extra like dip sauce. He was like looking around my legs, and I was like, what are you looking for? Like, usually he doesn't need anything from over here. So I was really confused as to why he was over here. So I was like, can I help you? He keeps looking and looking, and I'm like, what are you doing? And like the whole time I'm talking stuff to him, right? I look over at my friend who's stocking the fridge, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, he really looked like he was looking for something. He was searching for his long lost something, okay? I start being stubborn. I'm like, whatever, I guess I ain't gonna help you. You just keep wasting your time. Like, whatever, you don't want to ask. Guys, the minute that like I looked away from him, and I was like, whatever, this boy for real went like this to my booty. Like, he walked by and grabbed like my butt, and then like let his hand just completely go across the entire booty cheeks of the bootiness, okay? All of it, okay? Like, not just like the fingertips, like the whole hand just across my butt. And I was like, keep in mind, this is a guy that I like, okay? So it's not necessarily unwanted attention, but still, it was definitely not something that I thought was gonna happen, because he's so, y'all remember, he's so quiet. This is Daniel we're talking about, okay? Quiet, shy Daniel, but he was not being shy at this very moment. Y'all, I couldn't even like, it was one of those moments, have you ever had this happen where like a guy does some stuff like that to you, and it's not necessarily unwanted attention, but like still it's just like catching you off guard, and you don't really, like, it literally takes the words out your mouth. Like, you're literally speechless because you don't know how to react, because it's not something that you necessarily dislike, but it's also not something that you were expecting. That's what I was in. Like, that was the moment I was in, okay? That's how I was feeling. Did I feel that right? Like, am I tripping, or did you just touch my entire whole ass booty? Like, oh. If you guys have ever been in a Little Caesars, at least it was this way in my location and the other location that I was training at, but usually there's like a little area right behind the cashier. It's like this stand, and that's basically where you make the crazy bread, okay? And whoever's standing behind there, you can still see them. There's just like shelving units in between their face, you know what I'm saying? But you can still see them. They can see into the front. And so Daniel, after he touched my booty and things, he like went behind that because he was about to make some crazy bread. He like ducked down and looked in between the shelves at me. He was like, he winked at me, and like my whole heart started fluttering. Like, the whole thing, I was like, okay. It was in this moment that I was like, you know what? Maybe he got a thing for me. I mean, at this point, I don't even think it's a question. Like, he wants the whole booty. I know that I got red in the face. Like, it's still this way to this day. If David is like lovey-dovey with me, y'all seen me, okay? I blush with my own husband. I have a bad habit of blushing, so I could feel myself getting red, and I was like, oh my god, like, oh my god, like, this is the guy that you like, that likes you back, and he be feeling all on your booty and whatever. Don't act all nerdy right now. Like, get it together. Keep in mind that this happened, and my homie, my girl that was like filling the fridge, she didn't even know what happened, okay? Because like, it wasn't a smack or anything like that to catch her her attention. It was literally something that happened between he and I. She had no idea about it. So I'm just sitting there, you guys, like blushing all stupid. And I'm like, oh my God. And at this very moment, while I'm trying to still process this, and I'm like trying to get my emotions together so that I don't look so nerdy and stupid in front of him, of course, a customer walks in. Cannot stop like giggling and laughing and smiling, and I'm like, hey, you know, like, welcome to Little Caesars. And like my friend was like, bitch, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you acting that way? And she came back across the counter and she was like, girl, you okay? I was like, yeah, girl, I'm fine, girl, I'm good. Trust me, I am good. I was in the kitchen. I think I had taken my break or something. You guys know that we had to go out that back door to take a break. So I was walking into the kitchen and I was like hanging up my coat and setting down my stuff and like my purse in the back. And all of a sudden, Daniel walks up to me and he puts his arm around my shoulder and he's like, hey, you know, like, how was your break? What'd you do? Anything fun? Like, he was being facetious. And again, y'all, I could not control it. I start blushing and I'm like, nothing, like, you know, it's just my break. Like, you know, I like start cheesing or whatever. Just so stupid. Oh my God. He was on one on this day and I guess he just really, I don't know why he made this decision to like let this be the day that he was making all the moves. It happens and we're like sitting there and we're flirting and he's got his arm around me, and then one of the girls that works in the back, I didn't really know her that well, we'll name her like Ashley, and she didn't have a problem with me or anything, but like she walked by and she was like, oh my God, you guys are together now? And I was like, I didn't even have to answer. Daniel was like, not yet. And I was like, oh. Ashley just sat there and she looked at him and she was like, seriously, Daniel, that's interesting coming from you. What's she talking about? What does she mean? What does that mean? Why is she looking at you like that? Like, she was looking at him like, y'all know when a girl is like trying to say something but she's not really saying it. It was one of those moments. So I'm like looking at Daniel like, what's she talking about? Like, what you mean? Like, what you mean by that? Like, that's weird coming from him. I immediately started thinking the worst. And so I'm like looking at her and she will not look at me. She just keeps looking at him like, He was like, just ignore her. She's just mad because she just got broken up with by her boyfriend. And I was like, oh, so like he was airing out all her business and she was like, oh, okay. All right, Daniel. Okay, we'll see how this works out for you. Okay, whatever. And she walked away. Just that simple. This whole time I'm like, can somebody explain this to me? Like, what is she talking about? What are you talking about? Like, what y'all know about each other? How am I this out of the loop? Like, I work here too. Like, what you mean? It's probably the only like little piece of evidence that I had that maybe there was something going on, like maybe there was like a little something off with this whole situation. But like most girls, I decided to look the other way. That happened later on, like that day or that week or something. We ended up exchanging numbers. He asked me for my number and we started texting. And y'all, we were texting every night, like every single night. We wouldn't text like all day, every day, but it was usually at night. It was just like stupid stuff like, hey, did you see this show? Or did you hear about this? Or how was school? Or whatever. Very like laid back conversations. And of course, you know, in the middle of it, he would throw in, you know, hey, what's up, beautiful? I'm thinking about you. I miss you. I can't wait to see you at work. All of the stuff that gives you butterflies, right? We had like the surface conversations at first, as per usual. Y'all know this. After a few days, things kind of started getting a little deeper and he starts telling me about his family. And y'all know when things start transitioning into something more personal, that's when you start really catching feelings. Like, it's not even like a crush at this point, okay? So he starts telling me about his family, things that are going on with his dad. And like, he was in kind of the same position as me, but it was his dad, his biological dad and his biological mom that were split, and he was living with his mom. In a way, he and I were kind of going through the same thing because I was coming from like a split home, even though this was not my biological father, but still my parents were separated as well. I'm living with my mom. I definitely did not understand what he was going through on the level that he was going through it. We started sending pictures back and forth, not them types of pictures, okay, but like cute pictures, like, hey, what's up, like, I'm still looking cute, and like, you know, we would send pictures to each other while we were at school and stuff like that. I told all my friends at school, like, yes, like, I got my new mans and he goes to this school, and they were like, girl, what? We're gonna fast forward a few weeks, almost a month. Like, this had been happening for quite a bit of time. We were a part of like a strip where the Little Caesars was, and then there was another business that was right next to us. Well, that business ended up moving or something happened, So we were actually going to be extending the Little Caesars out that way, and we were taking over that other spot. It was a pretty big space that they had rented out. It wasn't anywhere near ready. They were pulling out the floors, and like it was just a huge room in there. Like the minute you went in there was no AC in there or anything. You know, the work is being done over there in that other area, and we can hear everything, y'all. Like there's dust that's everywhere, and it is kind of a pain in the ass. So then my manager, so fast forward some time, and then my manager was like, hey, like there are going to be some corporate people coming out here. They want to see the new space. And so I want to have some of they had already like built the front desk area. This new spot, they had already like built the desk thing, you know? So he was like, I want to have some of our promotional items out there, and I also want to have like some of our stock over there so it doesn't feel so empty, right? So we weren't doing a full-on move. It was a partial move, but it was just to like, it was just for appearances for the corporate people to come over and like kind of get an idea of what this new space was going to look like, right? There were a few boxes. They had already brought in another fridge, you know, like the fridge that we had out front with all the sodas. They had brought another one in there, and so we were going to stock that and everything. So we had like sodas being rolled over there. One of my friends was like, hey, I'm going to organize the desk area. Can you stock the refrigerator? And I was like, okay, cool. So I start, you know, we had to like borrow some of the sodas from our old fridge to put in the new one so that it would look nice and full. Taking things to and from, like just going from one door out the other and just going back and forth. And it's like really hot in there. There's no AC. Like it's just like, you guys, you should have seen it. Like it was really just like an empty ass room with cement floors and like the front desk out there with like some random Little Caesar stuff. It was very odd, okay? I'm stocking the fridge, and you know, I'm talking to my friends, and we could play music in there because obviously no customers were coming in and out of there. So our manager was fine with us playing music while we were setting up. So, you know, we're in there, we're like, hey, you know, we're having a good time. We're like listening to our music and laughing and whatever. So I'm stocking the fridge, and while I'm stocking the fridge, I look out of the front window and I see this red car pull up, you know, and it parks right in front of our Little Caesars, and the passenger gets out, and it's this girl, and she gets out, and she's like this really small girl, and she has like a ponytail, but you guys, she looked pissed. She jumps out of the car and she slams the car door, goes around the front of the car and steps inside of our original store, right? One of my friends, the one that was like a cashier over on the other side while we were stocking over on this side, she was taking her break, okay? She was gonna be leaving for a break. So she comes out of the front and she comes around and she comes into our side, and I'm still like stocking. I'm taking forever on purpose to stock this fridge because I would rather be in here with my girls listening to music than in there actually working, you know? We'll name our girl, we'll name her like Danielle or something, okay? So Danielle comes in and she's taking her break. She opens the door and she comes in and she like immediately beelines it to me, and she's like, Nikki, I need to talk to you. And I was like, what? And so I'm like still stocking stuff. I'm like, what's going on? And she was like, girl, there is some shit going down next door. And I was like, what? I was like, what's going on? So like immediately me and my other girls, like we like literally pause the music because we want to hear the tea. That my girls are like, what happened? Like, what's going on? She was like, so this girl just came in pissed, right? And I was like, oh my God, I think I saw her. I was like, she came out of that car, and she goes, yeah. She came in yelling, telling everybody that she was looking for Daniel. Immediately, like my heart dropped, and I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. So like she's asking for Daniel. She's like yelling and telling everybody like, where's Daniel? Where the fuck is Daniel? Now Daniel was there that day. So she was like, you know, of course Daniel hears her and comes out from the back, right? She was like, girl, they are arguing right now. She was like, I think Daniel's trying to like calm her down, but she is so heated. I'm just sitting there like, oh no. And I'm just trying to get as much information out of my girl as possible. Like, what did you see? What did you hear? What does it seem like? And she was like, girl, like, I don't know her, but it seemed like they were together. Like the way she was talking to him and like demanding him and yelling at him, like, I think that's his girlfriend. And by this point, the girls that I was working with, they already knew that there was something going on between Daniel and I. Like, it was no secret at all. He started being a lot more touchy-feely with me, so everybody knew. So like all my girlfriends are like, Nikki, like, do you know what's going on? And I was like, honestly, like, I swear on everything, I really don't. I don't know what's going on at all. Danielle was like, look, girl, I'm just here to let you know. She was like, I gotta go on break and stuff, but just be prepared because you never know. She was like, but she's in there yelling at his ass right now. And I was like, oh my God, right? So the minute Danielle is like about to step out of like our side, all of a sudden we see the other door open and it's Daniel and that girl, and they come out to the front and they stand in front of that red car, and they're standing out there, and you could clearly tell that they were arguing. Now, it was more so her that was yelling at Daniel, and Daniel was just like, he kept shaking his head and like kind of like going like this, like, just calm down, like, why are you acting like this? And she was just like going off, and she was like pointing at her phone and like pointing at him, and y'all, it was evident that like this was nothing but relationship drama, okay? I kind of got my feelings hurt, and it's just like one of those moments where you're like disappointed, and you're just like, oh my God, of course this isn't as simple as I like you, you like me, let's start talking. Of course, like there's always another person involved, and like whatever. I'm looking out of the window, and all of a sudden, you know, the way that they were standing, she's facing him this way and he's facing her this way, and the side of the store that I was on was over here. So I'm like looking at them out of the window, and he's pretty much facing me, and he sees me, and he looks over and he sees me through the window, and like she's still yelling at him and her hands are going everywhere, and this boy decides to look over at me and he smiles. Nothing's wrong, like, hey, like just smiles. What the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you looking over here? What are you doing? You know, and I'm looking at him like, what you mean? Like, why are you smiling at me? Like, you have some explaining to do to me too. She like looks at him and she's like, oh, and she like kind of backs up a little bit and she goes, and she follows his gaze and she sees me in that window. She turns her whole body around and she looks at me and she's like looking at him, and she keeps pointing at me like, that's her? That's her? Is that who I need to talk to? Blah, 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 right? I kind of step up to the window like, bitch, you got something to say? Like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but if you'd like me to get in it, I can get in it. Because, like, I don't like that. I don't like girls gesturing at me. If you got something to say, say it. And, like, you know, I get you're mad at everything, homie, but you need to talk to your mans about that. Don't be looking at me like you got a problem with me. I don't even know you. I was very, very hot-tempered at that time. Y'all know this. I was, like, this close to the window. I was like, bitch, what? Bitch, what? She starts gesturing at me, and I'm, like, going like this in the window, like, what? Like, what do you want? You want to come talk? You like, what? While this is happening, I see my manager, y'all. He comes out of our Little Caesars, and he's coming into the new spot where we're in. He like looked over at Daniel and her and like shook his head like, oh my God, this is such a mess. But he walked right past them and came into our little area, right? So of course, when my manager comes in, you know, I stop immediately. I stop like gesturing to her. I stop trying to like fights with her. Hey, how's everything going? Like, how's everything looking? So he's like looking at everything. At this point, I was pretty much done with the fridge. So I need some extra hands and some extra help on the other side. And I was like, okay, here we go, y'all. My heart starts beating real fast because I have to walk out there and walk directly past her and him. I don't even look at her, okay? Because I don't know her. I don't know you. Like, there's absolutely no reason for me to be giving you any time of day, bitch. I don't know you. But who I do know is him. I don't look at her. I don't acknowledge her. I don't do shit to her, okay? I keep my eyes on him. And the whole time I'm walking past, I'm looking at him like, I don't know what it was with Daniel in this situation. I don't know if he just wasn't taking her seriously or what. But even when I walked past at that moment, like he just kind of like smiled at me. Like he did not have any shame about what was going on or me or whatever. And so he like kind of does like a quick like smile when I walk past, and like he kind of does like a hey, like a nod to me. And I'm like, what you mean, hey? Like, what you mean, hey? He like had looked over at me and like nodded and smiled. And y'all, this girl took her fingers like this, grabbed the bottom of his chin and said, who the fuck are you looking at? And she like turned his neck. Girl, I thought maybe she was gonna snap his neck. She did it so hard. And she's like, who the fuck are you looking at? Went like this, and he was like, don't touch me like that. Like, don't do that. He was like, don't be doing that to my face, blah, 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 right? And like, y'all, it started all over again. So I hurry up and I go back into my side of the store, right? To my cash register, and I sign in, and I'm like ready to do my job if need be. So I'm like standing there, and I can see outside of the window, right? Well, I see them continue to argue and argue and argue and argue, right? And they're standing out there, and like Daniel just looks like he's done. He's just like, whatever, I don't know. You keep seeing his shoulders going like this and like doing this, and like she keeps trying to like grab out for him and like grab his face and like grab his arms and stuff, and like he keeps backing up like stop, 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 right? They were out there for so long, y'all. I'm surprised Daniel didn't get fired, okay? Because he was out there for quite a bit of time. Then my girl who had originally taken break, Danielle, the one who told me about this mess in the first place, she was coming back from break. She walks past him, and you know, she's not even shy. She's like, ooh, like damn, and you know, like whatever. She's like making faces the whole time that she's walking past, and she comes in and she's like, damn, somebody's in trouble. Danielle's sitting there, right? And we're like spilling the tea, and I'm telling her like what had happened, right? And she was like, girl, on the way in here, she was like, you know, she's yelling at him. She was like, they are together. And I was like, how do you know? And she was like, because she was like yelling at him, telling him, you don't even touch me anymore. She was like, that's what I kept hearing her say, is you don't even touch me anymore. Oh no. Door opens and here comes Daniel. You guys, it's like nothing happened. He looked at me, he smiled, said, hey, what's up? And like, he just kind of looked at me like, please don't worry. He walks past me and he goes to the back, right? I see out of the window that old girl is still standing there, okay? She's still standing in front of that car that's directly in front of our windows. And y'all, she looks absolutely insane. She looks crazy as hell, and she's literally just standing there in the window just staring, and I couldn't tell if she was staring at me or if she was just staring inside in general. I couldn't tell, and she just stood there and stood there and stood there. Start noticing that this girl is taking some footsteps and that she's heading inside. Sure enough, the door opens and here comes old girl. It's our job as the girls that work up at the cash register to greet the customers, and I forgot what we had to say. We had a phrase that we had to say every time. It was like, I get you a $5 hot and ready or something like that. A lot of times me and the other girl that worked up there, we had a habit of saying that in unison, and people thought it was so funny. So sure enough, she walks in and me and my girl do our spiel. We're like, hey, can we get you a $5 hot and ready? Y'all, this bitch looks at me and she goes, oh, is that all you're charging is $5? That's funny. I thought you would have a little bit more respect for yourself and ask for a little bit more. Bitch, you are not making any sense. Like, I know that you're trying to shade me right now, but you're not doing a really good job because you're not making any sense. What you mean? So I look at her and I'm like, I'm sorry. Do I know you? Do we have an issue that we need to discuss? Like, I don't even know who you are. Y'all, I could start feeling my blood boiling. And I was like, oh my God, like, I'm going to end up fighting at my place of business because like, who the hell is this? And why is she coming at me like that, right? She keeps looking up and down at me like she's like disgusted, and I'm like, bitch, what? And so like I looked at her and I was like, can I help you? Do I know you? And the minute that came out of my mouth, here comes Daniel. He comes up to the front and he was like, Alyssa, leave. I told you to leave. Like, this is my job. Go. And she was like, no, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go, Daniel. I want to meet your little whore, okay? Who the fuck? I was like, who the fuck are you talking about right now? Like, y'all, I lost all professionalism. I didn't care that I was at work, y'all. My manager was in there. I did not care. I was like, I know you did not. Hold up. I was like, do you know me? Because I sure as hell don't know you. Who the fuck are you talking to? Immediately when I gave off that vibe, she started getting louder. She was like, I'm talking to you. You see me looking at you, right? Oh, bitch, I will make you go cross-eyed. Don't fucking talk to me like that. Like, I don't know who the hell you are. You know who I am. Of course, but you're not that important to me. I don't know who you are. Oh, he hasn't told you about me? And I was like, no, bitch, you must not be that important because he has not told me shit about you. Who are you? And she looked over at Daniel. She goes, nice, real nice. I'm his girlfriend and have been for over a year. Good for you. Good for you. Like, what the hell do you want from me? Like, what? You want me to say congratulations for being with your man for over a year? What the fuck do you want? Well, judging by your name tag, your name is Nikki, right? And I was like, you stupid, stupid bitch. You want me to confirm that? Yes, my name is Nikki. Can I help you? That's the same name that I keep seeing popping up on my man's phone. Yeah, okay. I literally looked at her. I was like, okay, and? She was like, why are you talking to my man? I was like, first of all, this is a question that needs to be for Daniel. You may have seen my shit pop up on his phone, but bitch, I don't know anything about you. He never ever told me about you, ever. I looked at Daniel. I was like, right, Daniel. Y'all, he looked over at her. He was like, I never mentioned you because you and I have been on and off, and like, honestly, I don't even know where we stood. So no, I didn't tell her anything about you. And he was like straight up, y'all, like, I could not believe that Daniel was like even a part of this because he was always so quiet, but he was looking at her like he wanted to kill her. He was like, so if you have a problem, then the problem was with me, not with her. She was like, oh my God, how sweet. You're sticking up for your new whore. Y'all, I start going off. I was like, call me out my name one more time. Call me out my name one more fucking time and see if I don't fucking jump over this goddamn counter and strangle you. Like, I'm done. I'm not about to do this. I don't even know you like that. He's telling you, if you have a problem, talk to him. Don't be fucking talking to me because I don't know you. I don't want to know you. I don't give a shit about you. So like, go somewhere. She starts yelling. Y'all, I don't even remember what she was saying. I don't even remember what I was saying, but like, we're going back and forth, right? It was like, you think that he's gonna want to be with you? You're nothing but a hoe for him, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, excuse me. I did. I jabbed her where it hurt. I was like, look, it's not my fault that your man would rather touch me than you, okay? Because he ain't got no problem touching me on a daily basis that I'm here. I was like, and he texts me every night, tells me that I'm on his mind all the time. I'm the last thing he thinks about and the first thing he thinks about in the morning. Not my fault. Again, if you have an issue, you need to talk to him. I don't have to hold myself out, girl. Your man just wants me just cuz. So I said that. I don't know what in the world made Daniel pick this time to start chuckling, okay? And he literally just he let out a few laughs and he was like, he looked at me like, I know you did not just say that. And I was looking at her like dead ass, like, yes, I said what I said, bitch. She looked at Daniel and she was like, for real, Daniel, is that true? Like, y'all just be hooking up and stuff? I was like, no, don't misunderstand. You see, I ain't giving him none, okay? Like, he's trying to get with this so bad that he keeps talking to me and I haven't even given him none. I know you be giving him everything and he don't want shit to do with you. So who's the real hoe up in here? I was just jabbing her and jabbing her and jabbing her. Like, keep coming at me sideways, bitch. Keep calling me out my name, okay? Because I'ma just blow all this shit up out the water. It's not my fault that your man has wandering eyes, whether y'all together or not, none of my business. But what I'm trying to tell you, bitch, is that he did not tell me about you. I could not even tell that he was in a relationship. He has absolutely, y'all, I had seen his phone. You know how like dudes will have like pictures of their girl or like some sort of like indicator that he's with somebody? Nothing. This boy had nothing. He never mentioned her, and for her to have been with him for like a year, that's kind of crazy. Like I had talked to him so many times and whatever, but then all of it started making sense. Like that girl in the kitchen after my break, and she was like, really, Daniel, that's interesting coming from you or whatever. She knew that Daniel had a girl, or like at least somebody that he was going back and forth with, and like all of it started making sense. My manager had an office that was like right near the front. It was like in the corner, and y'all, this man did not come out of his office throughout this entire thing, and I know that he heard it, okay? But he didn't come out. I do kind of feel bad for this part, but part of me doesn't, because like she came in there coming at me sideways and making this about me when it wasn't, and like putting all the responsibility on me, and like I just don't agree with it. When I started telling her, you know, your man don't have no issue touching me, I'm telling her all this and I'm not being nice about it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I was not being nice about it. I was trying to hurt her because she was coming at me sideways and I felt like the bitch deserved it. Like, you over here calling me a hoe and a slut and every other goddamn name in the book. Like, let me set the record straight for you real quick, okay? Y'all, before I knew it, she was crying. I felt really bad, but then again, I was like, dude, it didn't have to be this way. You didn't have to, you know, come at me like that. And I don't know if you just used to coming at girls like that and they don't do shit about it, but I will hit you where it hurts, and I will make you fucking cry. I told you to leave me alone, and I told you to stop calling me out my name, and you would not stop. And look at you. And things get real awkward. I calmed down. I'm not going to continue to go at her when she's obviously crying. Daniel did not move, okay? Like, he didn't go over there to console her, nothing. I see the other person in that red car. You know how I told you guys that she was the passenger? Well, the driver of that car was getting out of the car, and it was another girl, but she looked older. She looked maybe like 18, 19, okay? Now, keep in mind, we're like 16 years old. And she comes inside, and she grabs oh girl. She walks in and she goes, no, don't be crying in front of him. He does not deserve your tears. No. Just me guessing, because they did kind of look alike. I think that was like her older sister. I could be wrong, but like I'm pretty sure I'm right. She was like, I just found out that like he's been messing around on me with her. And she's like crying the whole time that she's pointing at me. And so like here I am, you know, in front of her and in front of her sister, and her sister like looks up at me and she was like, really? Like, that's what you do? You get with dudes that are taken? And I was like, do not start. I don't care if you're her fucking sister. I don't care who you are. Like, don't talk to me about shit that you don't know about. I was like, I'm going to say this for the last fucking time, okay? Because I'm tired of being dragged into this and I'm tired of being talked to crazy. Don't misunderstand me, all right? I did not know about her because he did not tell me about her. All of this is too much drama and I want nothing to do with it. He and I are not together. Nothing intimate ever happened. So she can stop crying about that, because I can tell you 100% we never went there. But I will say that he was all up on my phone, and that's exactly what I told her, and that's why she's crying. But that does not mean that I'm sitting here getting with dudes that have girlfriends. It is not my fault that he did not tell me about her. So don't come at me sideways. Again, like I told her, if you have an issue or any questions, refer them to him, because he is the person that has all the answers for you, okay? Like, I was already up to here like, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care who you are, I don't care, I don't care. I am not, this is not my responsibility, it is not my issue, it is not my situation to be answering questions about, okay? So get the fuck, like, seriously, y'all need to fucking leave. Like, get the fuck out of my place of business. Like, I work here, y'all want to talk to him, y'all talk to him, but like, I don't understand why y'all keep bringing me into this as though I knew. I keep telling you, I did not know. I did not know. Bitch, I did not know. Don't sit here and try to shame me and make me feel bad, because I sure as hell don't. I don't feel bad at all because I didn't know. That girl is like throwing such a fit and she's crying so hard that her sister had to like put her in the car and, you know, like literally buckle her in. Like, I saw her buckle this bitch in because she was so distraught that she couldn't buckle her own seatbelt. I'm so pissed, and y'all know me, okay? My Glamazons that have been with me for a moment, y'all know. When I get pissed, it takes me a very, very, very long time, like an abnormal amount of time for me to calm down, okay? Everything's quiet, all right? Everybody from the back, everybody was up toward the front, just sitting there staring. They had been watching the whole thing. I'm embarrassed because this was an attack against me. These were girls that were questioning me and calling me out my name and making it seem like I just mess with dudes or girls or whatever. And it was just like so much drama, and it was just it was really embarrassing, to say the least. It really was. He went to say something to me, and honestly by this point I was like, don't. Just fucking don't. Like, don't talk to me. Don't look at me. I was like, do not ever fucking text me again. Like, I don't appreciate you putting me in the middle of all this. Like, you knew your situation. You knew that you weren't fully single, and I told you that I was single. And I have the right to talk to whoever it is that I want to talk to. But for you to sit up there and continue to talk to me when you knew that you weren't doing the right thing, like, don't even start. I don't want to hear nothing. Leave me the fuck alone, right? So I'm telling him that. Finally, my manager comes out. He opens the door and he says, Daniel, Nikki, in my office now. I look over at Daniel like I was going to kill him. I was like, I know. Look at what the fuck you just done. Look at this. Look at it. So we go into my manager's office, and my manager sits down at the desk. And before we could say anything, he was like, I don't even want to know what just happened out front of my store. But what I will tell you is that I'm not going to be putting up with it. Whoever knows that girl needs to make sure that she does not come back here. Do you understand? And so he said that, and I looked over at Daniel and I was like, yeah, Daniel. And my manager was like, and Nikki, you need to control your temper out front. This is a business. I started trying to defend myself. I was like, look, you know, she was coming at me sideways and she was like calling me names and stuff, and like I felt like I had to defend myself. And he was like, I don't want to hear any of that. He was like, this is a business. This is an establishment. It should be treated as such with professionalism, regardless of who walks in through that door. You guys are still at work. Do you understand? You guys are clocked in. So like, I don't want to hear about, you know, you defending yourself or the purpose behind it. I'm telling you that type of behavior is not welcome here. He was like, now, if you can't guarantee that this isn't going to happen again, both of you will be let go today. Whatever. I was like, are we done? Can I just be done now? And he was like, yeah. He was like, actually, just go ahead and go home early. And I was like, and I didn't know if that meant I was fired. I was like, am I fired? He was like, no. He was like, I just need you to go home and cool off and come back in a few days better, okay? And I looked over at Daniel and I was like, fucking bullshit. Like, this is fucking bullshit. Y'all, I left that office so pissed. and I had to walk through the entire kitchen, and everybody had just seen what had happened, and they're all like, oh shit. Ugh, I was so pissed. I was so pissed. I don't even try to be in fucking drama like this. Like, I don't go out of my way to find dudes and be like, oh my god, you have a girlfriend? Let's talk. Like, ever. Like, I'm not that break up with your girlfriend because I'm bored. Like, I'm not that one. Like, if you got a girl, if you even got somebody that you're talking to, okay, like, no, because shit like this can happen. At the end of the day, I completely understand why my manager got mad. If I was a manager, I would have gotten pissed too, because like, no matter what, when you're working, you're working. That's priority, and you have to remain calm. You have to, you know, maintain professionalism no matter what. It doesn't matter. Personal things come second, you know, but like in the moment, I'm 16, I'm very young, I'm very like, I pop off, and I was pissed at everybody. I was like, if anybody else would have talked to me in that moment, I would have cussed them up one side and down the other, girl. Like, I was just so like, don't fucking talk to me. Like, nobody talk to me because I am pissed. So I never talked to Daniel like that again, ever. Like, we were kind of, like, I held a grudge for a while. By the time I was quitting, we were kind of cordial, but it was never the same. So that is the story about Daniel's funky ass. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was the story about the time that I almost lost my job over a boy. So yeah, that's what happened. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for reminding me to tell you guys this story, because it definitely was one of my more ratchet moments, but I know you guys enjoy those story times. Thank you guys so much for coming to chill with me for story time this weekend. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Make sure you're productive this coming week. Also, we have some really good stuff coming out on my Glamour family channel, so make sure you head over there and check that out as well. I love you guys so much. I'm about to head out with my family and enjoy my weekend. I hope you guys do the same. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Peace out.